Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Steve Nash previously had both Amari Stoudemire and Mike D'Antoni on his coaching staff in Brooklyn. Now Nash is adding another familiar figure from his Phoenix Suns days, or I like to call it the loser days. Veteran basketball writer Mark Stein reported Saturday that the Nets are expected to hire Igor Kokoskov as an assistant on Nash's bench. Kokoskov had served as an assistant coach for the Dallas Mavericks this season. Kokoskov goes pretty far back with Nash. He was an assistant coach for the Phoenix Suns for 5 years from 2008 to 13. The first 4 years of which coincided with Nash's time in Phoenix as a player. Kokoskov also coached current Nets guard Goran Dragic, both on the Suns and on the Slovenian national basketball team. The 50-year-old Kokoskov is very well experienced. He previously served as head coach of the Suns in the 2018-19 season as well, though after Nash and Dragic had already left the team. Kokoskov could provide a bit of stability for Nash in Brooklyn, especially with Nash recently facing hot seat rumors. So, in my opinion, this is a dumb move. Okay, how many more Phoenix Suns do you have to put over there to see that that system doesn't work? And this has been the problem. Steve Nash's problem is he's too nice of a guy. And he doesn't know how to coach or make adjustments. See, people think when I say adjustments, it's just speaking hot air. No, it's telling you how the game is. It's just like in football. A lot of the best teams back in the day, even before I was born, they knew how to adjust during the game. They knew how to adjust well to it. These are one of the things that hurt Wilt Chamberlain that Rick Barry and John Havlicek used to say, as they were saying, Wilt, when he got in foul trouble, he never really adjusted. A lot of the great players, when they're in foul trouble, they know how to adjust. They know how to do certain things not to keep picking up fouls. So that was one of his weaknesses. But as far as overall player, Wilt Chamberlain is probably the greatest player. I think he might be the greatest player of all time to be 7-1 and do what he does. But this move by Steve Nash shows that the Nets really don't want to win. They're basically not even talking about bringing Kyrie Irving back because they're talking about trading him once he goes into his player option, and they're not talking about extending him. Kevin Durant, word has it that I don't even know if this is true, but Kevin Durant is looking to be moved if they don't sign Kyrie Irving long term, which I would understand because you're trying to win championships. I thought that's what this is about, winning. Not just going to get a lottery pick every year and hope you make it in the playoffs. It's like, look, it's championship or bust for Kevin Durant and Kyrie. And Kevin Durant already, I know, wants to win now because Golden State is back in the fold and they're 3 games away from winning the series. Well, what I mean is they just need 3 more wins, to win the series. So this is going to be interesting. To me, the Phoenix Suns system doesn't work in the playoffs. During the regular season, it works because people don't have time to game plan, to break you down, because the regular season is just, you're just trying to get through the motion. You're trying to make plays. You're trying to learn who plays well with each other. You're trying to see which lineups work, which lineups don't. And that's all the regular season is, while obtaining a record to get you in the playoffs. Now, I don't like Steve Nash. I thought Kevin Durant and Kyrie never hired him. They basically got hired by Sean Marks. That was his decision. So, so I don't know. Now, Draymond Green is an incredibly intelligent basketball player. He has been lauded for his IQ by many of the greats in the game, and it has allowed him to become an invaluable piece to the championship dynasty of the Golden State Warriors. While he doesn't have the best scoring skills, yeah, we know that he's putrid when he tries to score. Green is an incredibly astute player in terms of how he creates for his teammates and sets their defense up. However, IQ can refer to more than just his contribution on the floor as a basketball player. Green knows exactly the buttons he needs to push with the officials to keep himself protected from their calls. After horrible experiences with officials in the past, it seems Draymond has figured them out. Nick Wright pointed out that Draymond has been getting early technical fouls in games and then acts as he wants because the referees can't justify ejecting him for microaggressions like yelling or asking for calls, as it requires them to give out a second technical foul reserved for more serious offenses. Green used this method really well against the Dallas Mavericks as well, getting the referees to not make big calls on him after receiving a technical foul earlier in the game. The refs can't win in this situation as it either requires them to hold their whistle or eject Draymond from high stakes finals games for arguing. The 2015 Defensive Player of the Year deserves credit for having manipulated the game in his favor like this, even if it is annoying for fans to watch him play like this. The Warriors are headed for a dominant Game 2 win with Draymond still on the floor while his contribution has come under the microscope for being lackluster. He did manage to not get ejected and had a historical night with assists. So, yeah, that's all Draymond is now. All Draymond is walking, talking garbage can. Okay, that's all he is. All he does now is be an irritant. But I'm calling Tatum out. Tatum has got to keep his guys under control. And what he needs to do, if he's not going to say anything, he needs to go and get his buckets. See, to nullify all that irrelevant BS that Dre does, you have to go out there and play. You out here trying to sell yourself as Kobe or Mike. You not Kobe or Mike, sir. Kobe was way better than you. Especially at 20 years old. I say at 18 he was better than you. He just didn't get a chance to start because he was traded from Charlotte to the Lakers to come off the bench because they needed an extra. They needed to get another guy. And in the workouts, he showed that he could be a superstar. You haven't showed that. You've shown that you're more of a role player. You have been dominated. You have been losing the ball on turnovers. You had a good scoring performance in the second quarter, but after that, you just went to sleep. You were nowhere to be found. Defensively, you weren't locking your man down. You were a minus 36. That's like the worst, I think, of any player in the finals, like superstar in the finals. So, to me, you should have been nullifying it with scoring. Jaylen Brown's head was out the game. Draymond got in his head, he was done. Once Draymond got in his head, it was over. Draymond was getting in everybody's head. But see, this is funny. Draymond's allowed to do all this, but in the Cavs series, when he played LeBrownies, he wasn't allowed to do any of this stuff. Like they would be like, no, you can't do that. But I guess it's double standards out here, huh? So let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the hire for Brooklyn. I think it's a bad hire. I think the Nets are going to be they're going to be like the Phoenix Suns. They're always going to make the playoffs, but they're not going to go far. Not with Steve Nash. You got to get a real coach in there. To me, that didn't help them. They should have gone and got a real head coach. You know, that's how I look at it. You know, that's how I look at it. That's how I think it ought to be. But you know how it goes. So you know how it goes. And also the Draymond Green is Draymond Green like making an impact on the series? Look, Draymond Green has always been an irritant. He basically is going to do stuff that don't show up on the stats. I feel like he's overrated. I don't think he's great as Dennis Rodman was because Rodman was getting rebounds. Like this guy could play defense, but they let him get away with doing what he want to do. They let him get away with pushing, shoving guys, doing extra tactics. Draymond should have got kicked out of the game yesterday. He should have got kicked out the game. You know, a lot of that stuff he was doing was very unnecessary and way over the line. And he's allowed to yell and go off on people, but if somebody else do it, they get a tech. It's like, come on. We know you being friends with LeBron James, we know. We know why you're allowed to get away with the stuff you do. And please don't compare him to Dennis Rodman because he's not. Dennis Rodman actually got rebounds, rim protected, and he played the game. He was physical, but he was a controlled physical. You understand what I'm saying? He had a controlled physicality about him. Draymond is out of control and it's just reckless. But like I said, you know, congrats for winning game 2, but Jason Tatum is playing like garbage water. And he's playing just like cream puff Tatum. And you need to stop wearing all this Kobe Bryant stuff. Dog, you not Kobe, all right? Kobe is better. Kobe cemented his legacy. You haven't. Your legacy is still being written and it's taking some big hits. You know. So thank you guys for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this. Hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. So if you guys love what you hear, you can go to the description box, hit that link in the Cash App, you know, and you can donate whatever your heart's desire. Whenever we go live or premiere video, you can super chat. Also, if you don't make the video, you can always do a super thanks to support the video. Shout out to Sino for life, man, for the support yesterday and the super chats. Really appreciate that, big dog. So thank you guys for listening. We are out. Deezy.